and his wife was fucking her son's friend. Okay?
The best people who are good in comedy, they couldn't defend themselves. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. People be wondering why I'm so funny and shit. Nigga, there's mad times in my life where I just couldn't defend myself. And because of that, all you have is your ability to talk shit. That's
Make
literally
people laugh.
that's
a
all.
fact.
All you have is the ability to make the bully look stupid in front of anybody. That's all you can do. You can't do shit else. You can't fight them. You're not bigger than them. You're not stronger than them.
It goes back to the days when I used to get beat up by my older cousins, and I'd be like, yo, it dinged in my head. Like, wait a minute, you could beat me up. You can't stop me from talking shit. Even while you stopping me out, I'm gonna be sitting here, nigga, fuck you, SMD, all that. You know what I'm saying? But
look at you kicking me with your bad legs. Look at you. Look at you, peg leg Pete, nigga. Look at you.
But
man.
One of the parts you didn't see in there that happened afterwards is he was talking about it, and he basically said, like, you know, everybody's asking, why didn't I fight him back? Why didn't I fight him back?
Everybody called him a bitch. They called his wife a predator. Everybody called him a bitch. Everybody. And who's he hit? Me. A nigga he know he could beat. That is some bitch ass shit.
And after, you know, of course he justified, you know, him being bigger than him and all that. And,
of course.
You know, but the punchline I loved of the night, right? He said, why didn't I fight him back? He said, because I had parents, which first off, that's like a dig at Will Smith, because I'm sure, I think there's something in the story about him feeling helpless, watching his mom go through some stuff. I don't remember. But then he said, my parents taught me, don't fight in front of white people. And he dropped the mic and walked off. And I love that, because not only is that funny, not only is that a justifiable response, but if you saw the backlash that Will Smith had got after that, you know, it's almost like, okay, listen, yeah, I told the jokes, yeah, it's funny, but listen, I didn't even have to get my revenge on you. You know, you acting like that, God, you did this to yourself.
I was just having this conversation with members of my family the other day, and they asked me if they felt that Will Smith was justified and everything, and I remember saying, I'm like, one, Will Smith probably wouldn't have did this to a white dude. Let's be if it was Louis C.K. or Bill Burr up on the stage, I doubt very seriously that Chris Rock Will Smith would have actually came and slapped the shit out of either of them, because that would be like career suicide. And two, I said the same exact thing, bro. I said, as a person who actually cares about the image of black men in the media, why the fuck would I advocate for two black men to go fight each other in front of white people when there's a bunch of white people that already believe that we behave like animals?
Well, you know, I partially agree with it. You know, I agree with you, but I always hated that saying. I always hated that, the white people are haters. I don't give a fuck.
No, that's because that's not what it's about.
I know, and that's what I was saying. Like, I agree with, because I know that what you're saying, that's not what it's about. And that's not what Chris Rock was saying, is that's not what it's about. What he was saying is, these white people that sign your checks, watch how they treat you now. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to fight in front of
And that nigga had a canceled, every movie he was doing that year, canceled. Canceled.
But, you know, not everyone was as satisfied as us with the special.
No,
did you see the tweet from Rosenberg?
Of course not,
You want to quote Peter Rosenberg?
Yeah,
and, you know, I don't got no hate against Rosenberg. Shout out Rosenberg, but, you know, this was crazy.
This is a bad take, bro. According to Rosenberg, Chris Rock took a year of being the good guy who took the high ground and just decided to go completely vengeful and angry. I am not morally judging him, even though that sounds like a moral judgment. I'm not going to hold you. The fact that you're calling a motherfucker vengeful when he got slapped on live television, I don't think Rosenberg's ever been slapped, let alone on live television when he's hosting some shit. You know, no one's slapping you when you doing FanDuel announcements, nigga. So hold your brakes a little bit, all right? And I am not morally judging him. Do you? But in the long run, tonight will not give him the win he was looking for.
I think he went on to say a little bit more.
He did. But I want to break that down first. I want to break that down before I move on to the next part, because people got short attention spans, all right? So let's break this down layer by layer for a little bit. Chris Rock took a year of being the good guy who took the high ground. First off, nigga, what is your like your insight on being the good guy? Like, how does that look to you? Does him not making jokes openly about it, does that make him the good guy? Because if I smack the shit out of a nigga and he spends a year making a bomb to send to my house, yeah, it might have seemed like he was being a good guy, but really he was the fucking Joker. He was breaking little by little. Little by little. Like, so what the fuck? Like,
that was a great analogy.
Like, the Joker didn't start off the Joker, motherfucker. He started off with a nigga who had a really bad day.
It's like, yo, Putin's been real quiet this year.
Yeah,
He's
like,
been a good guy. Like,
the fuck? Just because you don't see someone openly doing something malicious does not mean that they're a good guy and they're taking the high ground.
He had to work the material at a couple of comedy sellers.
He did.
He had to work the.
He did.
He had to go and make sure a couple of cell phones were turned off. You know what I'm saying?
My man's ran the circuit. Like, what do you think he just gonna come out and talk shit? No, that's not. See, here's the thing that you don't know about comedy, Rosenberg. You know, because I've done comedy. Niggas don't just do that. They take time, they plan, they execute, they think about the jokes that they're gonna make, or at least good comics do, not niggas who get drunk and get on stage and if he was doing that, if that was on TMZ, I would understand your point about him being angry and vengeful. If he was drunk at the cellar just ranting about how I can't believe that light-skinned motherfucker shot me, like, I would understand, but in this case, no, cut it out. Cut it out. You planning some shit, you learning, you executing, right? The way that you want your revenge to be, your strike to be, your strike back, the Empire Strike Back, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You orchestrating that doesn't mean that you're taking the high road. It means that you're biding your time.
Smoke for Rosenberg.
It means that you're biding your time.
Yo, I continue to listen to the next tweet. Yo, this nigga gonna shoot the fade for Chris Rock.
Yeah,
I respect it.
Fact, man. This is one of my favorite comedians. I ain't gonna let fucking Rosenberg. Man, cut it out.
All right, continue. What's the next?
And the next thing he said was, rewatch the Chris Rock. Oh, so he has a new perspective now. Really enjoyed the middle of the special. I guess he didn't enjoy the middle the first time. When he was in his bag about relationships and culture. Thought the beginning was generic. I'm sure you thought that the first time. I'm sure you thought the whole thing was kind of generic, considering that this is a day later. Thought the beginning was generic, and the end was overly petty and mean-spirited. Overall, pretty good show.
Now, here's where I'll comment on that, right?
If Bad Takes was a nigga.
It's not about, I don't think it was mean-spirited at all. I think this is what someone sounds like after they've been smacked in front of millions and millions and millions of people. You know, I think in the black community, not that, Chris Rock is a known thug or anything like that, but he's still a nigga from Brooklyn. He's still a person with money. He's still,
Hold on. I got a question for Rosenberg. My nigga, you got kids? You got kids? Ever been slapped in front of your kids?
Yeah,
Have you ever been slapped in front of your kids? Oh no, you don't got kids? Oh no, you just getting married? I believe this year and some shit. Come on, son. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. You don't know what you're talking about.
I think as black men,
you don't know what you're talking about, bro.
I think as black men, to respond to violence with laughter is I think it's good for us as a community. Like, I'm always happy to see, a nigga get beat up and then go and be able to laugh and even if he wasn't laughing, make other people laugh and not retaliate with bullets. Because if this was two rappers, we already seen what happened. What was it? The Source Awards where Young Buck stabbed a nigga. Like, man. You feel me? So
every award show in the 90s.
you can be as mean spirited. And what did Chris Rock say? He said people say words hurt. He's like, no, getting slapped hurt. So even if his words seem a little hurtful, he that's a much better response than returning with violence. You know what I'm saying? Because the only thing worse that could have happened on the Oscars for the black community than Will Smith slapping Chris Rock is a full-blown fight. Like, think about how that would have went if it was a full-blown fight on the Oscars compared to someone gracefully taking a slap.
Bruh, there's so many things that could go wrong in terms of that. Like, my thing is like, what was you looking for? Or just people who share your opinion. Like, what were you looking for exactly? Were you looking for him to just never talk about it? To never vent about it? To never have any type of, like, I'm not sure where exactly that thought comes from that, oh yeah, a man can just get disrespected on live television in front of a million people and he's just not going to talk about it.
And that's the thing, like, for us, for the black community, we want to see him get a little angry. Like, that's because that's real.